There are 5 legal challenges already to one of the other immigration actions, the order on birthright citizenship. A federal judge appointed by Ronald Reagan, who I think you'd agree has some conservative credentials,
Sure.
Paused the order to end birthright citizenship, calling it blatantly unconstitutional. How do you reconcile this challenge to the 14th Amendment to the Constitution?
So I obviously disagree with that judge, and these things, some of them will be litigated. That's the nature of our constitutional system. But here's the basic idea of President Trump's view on this. If you are a lawful permanent resident or a legal immigrant who plans to stay, your children, of course, should become American citizens. But let's say you're the child of an ambassador. You don't become...
But that's not part of it.
Well, that
There's
is
already a carve-out
an
having to do
important
with kids of
principle.
diplomats.
But we're saying that carve-out should apply to anybody who doesn't plan to stay here. If you come here on vacation and you have a baby in an American hospital, that baby doesn't become an American citizen. If you're an illegal alien and you come here temporarily, hopefully, your child does not become an American citizen by virtue of just having been born on American soil. There's a very basic principle in American immigration law that if you want to become an American citizen and you've done it the right way, and the American people and their collective wisdom have welcomed you into our national community, then you become a citizen. But temporary residents, people who come in here, whether legally or illegally, and don't plan to stay, their children should become American citizens. I don't know any country that does that or why we would be different.
Well, with this
Birthright citizenship has been a highly debated topic throughout American history. But it really centers around really one word. That word is jurisdiction. Man, we're going to dive into the constitutional language of the meaning behind the word jurisdiction and other variables to determine if birthright citizenship is truly constitutional. Man, this is going to be fun. Let's get into this thing. You see that thing, baby? Let's get it. Let's go.
We on now. They respect us cause we on now. Money up, run the whole town, don't we? This our money can't slow down. Money won't slow down. Why they party? I'm in here grinding. Money I'm stacking. Why they rock diamonds? I can't relate to them, ain't much in common. I set a goal for me 2 or 3 commas. 7 figures, 8 figures to 9 figures. On a slow pace to get rich quick. Same time we just think different. Cause when you make it, it hit different.
What it do, y'all? It's your partner Dale back in the saddle again for another edition of the Counter Move podcast here on Thursday evening around like 8:30 p.m. Guys, thank you so much for blessing me with your time. So do me a favor, if you could share, like, and subscribe. And also, if you get some value, whichever platform that you're on, click on that little bell there for us, guys, and then we'll get you going. But this is going to be a very, very good Counter Move podcast, guys. Forgive me, I'm a little under the weather. So if you see me sipping my tea real fast, guys, I'm a little under the weather. So forgive me. I'm gonna need my voice for this one. So no matter what platform that you're on, TikTok, Facebook, YouTube, Rumble, pick one, whatever ones you're on. If you could indulge me and let's begin to reason together, guys. There's been a hot topic going on so far. And now that President Trump is now the president of the United States, he came up with an executive order, specifically around the 14th Amendment, and is around the topic of birthright citizenship, guys. It has been a very hot topic on a lot of different platforms, legacy media, also podcast media, and also on X and TikTok. Had a very good TikTok live yesterday talking about birthright citizenship. And guys, here's the question that I wanted to ask real quickly, and we're gonna listen to President Trump in a second to talk about why he's done this. The question is birthright citizenship constitutional? That's the question we're going to unpack together. We're going to bring in a constitutional attorney, right, who's going to do a deep dive into this. right? But let's go ahead and bring in President Trump real quickly, guys, because he wrote in an executive order talking about birthright citizenship. And it was doing I guess he was signing an executive order for something else today, actually yesterday. And they asked him this question concerning birthright citizenship. Let's listen to the reason why he actually wrote the executive order, and then we'll graduate over to the vice president because he went on CBS and talked about that as well. Here we go. Let's just listen to President Trump.
On birthright citizenship, sir, do you believe that there are 5 votes on the Supreme Court that would uphold your position?
On what?
5 votes on the Supreme Court.
What position?
Birthright citizenship.
I think so, yeah. Look, birthright citizenship was, if you look back when this was passed and made, that was meant for the children of slaves. This was not meant for the whole world to come in and pile into the United States of America, everybody coming in and totally unqualified people with perhaps unqualified children. This wasn't meant for that. This was meant, when it was originally done, for the children of slaves.
Wow.
And that was a very good and noble thing to do, and I'm in favor of that.
Now, I have to be transparent. Initially, when I began to research this after this executive order, I did not know this information. So this is new information for me when I first began to unpack this. Let's get going.
100%. But it wasn't meant for the entire world to occupy the United States.
So you don't see it requiring a constitutional.
So what he's saying is when the Constitution, with the 14th Amendment, was actually drafted, it wasn't drafted in a manner to where anybody can come in anytime they want to and say that they're a U.S. citizen just by their very presence in the United States. Let's keep going.
Amendment that would be.
I just think that we'll end up winning that court in the Supreme Court. I think we're going to win that case, and I look forward to winning it. This has been going on. We're at that level. We're the only country in the world that does this. There's no other country at this
That's
level.
crazy.
There's no other country in the world that does it. It's crazy.
Mr. President, if 64 people lost their lives.
So initially, right there, you see President Trump say the reason why he's number one. No country on the planet is doing what we're doing. And I have to look that up. And then number two, he's saying that the way the 14th Amendment was originally drafted, the author of the 14th Amendment did not mean that anybody can cross over and claim citizenship. That was not the language or the meaning behind the words in the 14th Amendment. Now, let's go ahead, guys, and we're going to read the 14th Amendment, right? And it's really section 1 of it. Let me bring it up real quickly here, guys. Section 1 of it, that's a terrible one. Here we go. Boom. That's the one I want. Let's go ahead and read it real fast, guys. And then what we will do then is that we'll go to the vice president, and then we will define where the contention is when it comes to the audiences, to the arguments. Here we go. Let's go ahead and bring it up. Here we go. Boom. All right. Let me put it over here. Now let's go ahead and read it together for the folk in the world. This is the 14th Amendment, section 1, right? Let's read that first portion. It says, all persons born or naturalized in the United States and subject to the jurisdiction thereof are citizens of the United States and of the state wherein they reside. Right? No state shall make or enforce any law which shall abridge the privileges of or immunities of citizens of the United States, nor shall any state deprive any person of life, liberty, or property without due process of law. Nor deny to any person within its jurisdiction the equal protections of the laws. So that really the source of contention, guys, is these first two sections here. This first section is right here. That's where the lion's share of the arguments are. Now, we're going to come back to this, guys, and we're going to talk about which word actually is the word that is really the source of contention. Is what we're going to do now. Let's go over to the Vice President of the United States, J.D. Vance. He went on Face the Nation, and the same question came up for him concerning birthright citizenship. Right. Let's see what he says about it as well. All right, here we go.
There are 5 legal challenges already to one of the other immigration actions, the order on birthright citizenship. A federal judge appointed by Ronald Reagan, I think you'd agree, has some conservative credentials,
Sure.
Paused the order to end birthright citizenship, calling it blatantly unconstitutional. How do you reconcile this challenge to the 14th Amendment to the Constitution?
So I obviously disagree with that judge, and these things, some of them will be litigated. That's the nature of our constitutional system. But here's the basic idea of President Trump's view on this. If you are a lawful permanent resident or a legal immigrant who plans to stay, your children, of course, should become American citizens. But let's say you're the child of an ambassador. You don't become...
But that's not part of it.
Well,
There's already a carve-out
that is
having
an
to do with
important
kids of
principle.
diplomats.
But we're saying that carve-out should apply to anybody who doesn't plan to stay here. If you come here on vacation and you have a baby in an American hospital, that baby doesn't become an American citizen. If you're an illegal alien and you come here temporarily, hopefully, your child does not become an American citizen by virtue of just having been born on American soil. It's a very basic principle in American immigration law that if you want to become an American citizen and you've done it the right way, and the American people and their collective wisdom have welcomed you into our national community, then you become a citizen. But temporary residents, people who come in here, whether legally or illegally, and don't plan to stay, their children shouldn't become American citizens. I don't know any country that does that or why we would be different.
Oh, well, this is a country founded by immigrants.
Well, this is a country founded by...
This is a unique country.
This is a very unique country, and it was founded by some immigrants and some settlers, but just because we were founded by immigrants doesn't mean that 240 years later that we have to have the dumbest immigration policy in the world. No country says that temporary visitors, their children, will be given complete access to the benefits and blessings of American citizenship. America should actually look out for the interests of our citizens first, and that means, again, if you're here permanently and lawfully, your kid becomes an American citizen. If you're not here permanently, if you're not subject to the jurisdiction of the United States and don't plan to be, why would we make those people's children American citizens permanently?
Interesting.
I want to ask you about refugee admissions, which were just suspended by the president.
So then they go into refugee stuff as well. But I want you guys to notice, of course, you see Vice President Vance as well as President Trump walking hand in glove together with the same message, right? Which is fine. JD went a little deeper than Trump did, which is fine. This is a one-on-one interview, which is fine. But they both have the same message. Now, there was an interesting word that Vice President Vance actually just talked about. This word right here, jurisdiction. Notice the word he used was jurisdiction. That seems to be where the lion's share of the source of contention when it comes to these arguments are on. So you have a liberal argument and a conservative / libertarian argument, okay? Or independent argument. We're going to walk through those real quickly, okay? Now, let's go back to the 14th Amendment real fast, and let's see about this real quickly. Right, here we go. Boom. Now, here is the 14th Amendment. I want you, it says, all persons born or naturalized in the United States, here's the key text, and subject to the jurisdiction thereof. Let me say that again. All persons born or naturalized in the United States and subject to the jurisdiction thereof are citizens in the United States and of the state wherein they reside. So the source of contention is over the word jurisdiction. The liberal interpretation of jurisdiction is this here. Is whenever an illegal immigrant or immigrant crosses over the border and with both their feet, they're in a state in the United States, right? And they have a baby, their mere presence in the United States makes them citizens because they had a baby here and there's chain migration. So what the liberal argument is their presence is them declaring that the U.S. is our jurisdiction, right? And the baby they're having is even more of a kind of a statement saying that, hey, we had a baby here, so therefore, right, we are citizens of the United States. And they're saying that's what jurisdiction means right here in the text. I'm going to have it highlighted. Now, on the conservative / libertarian side, it's different. What they're saying and this is what J.D. Vance and President Trump are talking about, is jurisdiction means what country did you pledge your allegiance to? In other words, what country did you originate in? As far as the parents, right? That's what they're, and also children as well. Also, if children were born in another country, right? The country of origin is your jurisdiction, right? Because you are a citizen of said country. So, if you have two parents, hypothetically, from let's say Brazil or Colombia, and what's happening is they come across the U.S. illegally and cross over the border. The conservative side says this here: you are a citizen. Your place of origin is Brazil or Colombia, right? Let's just say Brazil, for example, Brazil, right? And so the conservative / libertarian side is your jurisdiction is your country of origin. The liberal side is nope, their mere presence in the United States is them declaring that the U.S. is a jurisdiction. Those are the two opposing views of this whole thing. It's over the word jurisdiction, as you heard the vice president actually eloquently talk about. That is the source of contention from a legality standpoint. Does that make some sense here? That's what County West, that's what's going on. Now, so we have to unpack this word jurisdiction. This whole amendment is around this. Now, if you go back to what President Trump was talking about real quickly here, guys, get this off the screen real quickly. If you go back what President Trump talked about was this here. He talked about how he said that the 14th Amendment was really for slaves. That was a variable that I did not know about until I began doing some research on it, of the reason why it was written in the first place. So the author of the 14th Amendment was doing it because of slavery. That's not based on what I said. You're going to see in a second. This is based on what the words from the original author of the 14th Amendment. We're going to dive into that one here in a second. This is going to be really good, guys. Don't go nowhere. Hi, my name is Liddell Bugg. Mastering the strategy of locating distressed properties has allowed for me to own about $35 million worth of real estate currently right now. We're talking about new construction, single-family residences, commercial properties, and apartment complex. You name it, I own it. Now, I know you're asking, what does this got to do with you? I'm glad you actually asked. One of the most common questions that I receive when it comes to real estate investing is that they say, Liddell, what is the best strategy I should use when it comes to executing a good investment strategy in real estate? Should I buy and hold? Should I buy and flip? Or should I do a rental scenario? My answer to that question is, why not do all three? But the good thing about it is the investor that masters the art of locating distressed properties will know exactly how and what strategy is the most wisest in that situation. That's the key to this whole thing. If you wanted to know how successful real estate investors make money when they acquire real estate and not when they sell it, click on the link below or swipe up and download our free ebook, Distressed Property Investing. The blueprint is in the ebook. Stay blessed, holler at your partner, and download the ebook today. All right, guys, let's come back here real quickly. Again, the source of contention, guys, is over the word jurisdiction, right? That is the source of the legal contention, right? But I have to say this again. We have to go back to it's what we call in the Christian faith apologetically look at the text. In other words, what did the original author of the 14th Amendment mean by this language that he drafted? Who was the author? What was the time frame? And what did he mean? Right? That is what I call, this is what I call, guys, realistically, to be honest with you, this is what I call strategy, capital impact. We have to understand what that is. What was the strategy behind what the author was actually meaning when he actually wrote it, right? The meaning of the words, right? What was the political capital they was looking to resolve or to generate, and how did it impact the audience at that time frame, right? So let's dive into this real quickly, guys. I had to bring in my man real fast because Mark Levin, he's a constitutional attorney, and he does a really good job at unpacking this topic, and he goes all the way back through the history real quickly, guys, to unpack this whole strategy behind the reason for the 14th Amendment, on why it was written and the meaning behind the words. That is vitally important to understanding what this 14th Amendment is truly meaning at its core. All right, let's get into it. Here we go.
Birthright citizenship. Wow. Birthright citizenship. Doesn't that sound like, well, it's a right? What is birthright citizenship? Where does birthright citizenship come from? What kind of a country would purposely have something called birthright citizenship? We have it. Who put it in place? Who passed it? The vast majority of countries in the world, they said, no way. You can't have foreigners walking into your country having children, automatically they're citizens. That's insane. That they convey citizenship unto their own children by claiming the jurisdiction, by setting foot in your own country.
Remember, that's what the argument, that's the main argument by President Trump and Vice President Vance. Here we go.
That's insanity. I went into this about a month ago. I think too many people may have been watching football at the time, but I want to address it again because it's front and center. And I am watching reporters who have no idea what they're talking about. I'm watching reporters who have every idea what they're talking about, but they're misinforming you, and intentionally so.
Wow.
I'm watching the usual legal analysts all over cable, all over the networks. I've been watching them. They're on sonograms and airport radar, wherever they can get a gig, misleading you and lying to you about this whole subject. So we're going to do this. We're going to paint by the numbers. We're going to make it very understandable because this is your country.
Yes, it is.
And despite what the New York Times said a few months back, no, people do not have the right to reshape our country, to change the citizenship, to change the electorate, to change the entire culture.
Yeah.
We elect people, we, the American people, we, the actual citizens of the country, to represent us, not to represent foreigners. This is completely upside down. So let's take this by the numbers. It starts here. The notorious Supreme Court decision in 1857 called the Dred Scott decision.
Okay.
That helped precipitate the Civil War. It held that no black person of African descent could be an American citizen, even if that person was a freed slave, period. So black people in America had no ability to ever become citizens. It was an outrageous decision based purely on the race of individuals. It was an unconstitutional decision issued by the U.S. Supreme Court. After the bloodiest war in our history, over 700,000 casualties, every corner of the United States affected, north and south. When that war was over, in 1866, the Republican-controlled Congress passed a federal civil rights law. This Civil Rights Act was the precursor to the 14th Amendment.
Wow.
And its citizenship provision was intended to reverse the holding in the Dred Scott case. That is, and I want you to listen very carefully to this, because this is the relevant part. in that 1866 Civil Rights Act, our first Civil Rights Act, all persons born in the United States and not subject to any foreign power, excluding Indians not taxed, which we don't need to address right now,
Okay.
are hereby declared to be citizens of the United States. Look at that. And not subject to any foreign power. Remember,
Wow.
this 1866 Civil Rights Act was the basis for the 14th Amendment.
Yes, it was.
The 14th Amendment was adopted by Congress 2 years later and sent to the states where it was ratified in 1868. So the Republicans rightly decided that more than a statute was needed
Okay.
to deal with this Supreme Court decision, Dred Scott. So as part of the post-Civil War constitutional amendments, 13th, 14th, and 15th Amendments, they drafted the 14th Amendment, which, among other things, enshrined citizenship for blacks of African descent into our Constitution.
Okay.
That states, therefore, by adopting these amendments, would apply it to themselves as well as the entire nation. And you needed 3/4 of the states. Some of the states were resistant.
Yeah.
Some of the southern states were resistant. And you know what they were told? You either adopt this or you're not coming back into the country.
Wow.
You're on your own.
Wow.
And so they did, 3/4 of the states. Here's the relevant language. You heard it in the 1866 statute. That's the precursor to the 14th Amendment. 2 years later, here's the relevant language that was adopted in 1868 by Congress for the 14th Amendment. All persons born or naturalized in the United States and subject to the jurisdiction thereof,
Told you.
are citizens of the United States and the states wherein they reside. Okay, seems simple enough.
Yeah.
So what did they mean by subject to the jurisdiction thereof? I noticed some big-time Sunday hosts on other networks have specifically excluded that language, subject to the jurisdiction thereof. Why? Because they're pushing an agenda.
Okay.
Donald Trump issued an executive order. He wants to eliminate birthright citizenship. Why? Because he wants to protect the nation. He wants to ensure its viability for the next several hundreds of years. He wants to secure the border. He does not believe it's his job or the job of the people we elect to change the makeup of the nation, and certainly not to do it through the back door. So what did they mean by subject to the jurisdiction thereof? We actually know.
Oh, okay. Hold on. Here we go.
The then chairman of the Senate Judiciary Committee, way back then, Senator Lyman Trumbull.
Okay.
Here's what he told us, quote, subject to the jurisdiction thereof meant not owing allegiance to anybody else, subject to the complete jurisdiction of the United States.
So stop right there. Stop right there. Stop right there, guys. Let's read it again. Let's hit it again for the folk in the back row. I want y'all to hear this. All right? Let's get to
Way
it
back
again.
then, Senator Lyman Trumbull. Here's what he told us, quote, subject to the jurisdiction thereof meant not owing allegiance to anybody else, subject to the complete jurisdiction of the United States. So let's say you come here and you come from Mexico.
From the author.
And you have a child in the United States. Under this amendment, they're not automatically American citizens. Why? Because Mexico recognized that parent as a Mexican citizen.
Yes.
Mexico represents or recognizes that child as a citizen of Mexico.
Yes.
There's not pure allegiance to one nation state. You've got more than one nation state involved. Senator Jacob Howard, the actual author of this citizenship clause in the 14th Amendment, he explained that jurisdiction meant an allegiance to the United States, not just a presence of a baby that's born here, an allegiance to the United States.
Wow.
That is, not mere presence in the United States. He pointed out that it will not, I'm quoting him, of course, include persons born in the United States who are foreigners, aliens, who belong to the families of ambassadors or foreign ministers accredited to the government of the United States. Could they be clearer? No. There's absolutely nothing, nothing in the language, the text of the 14th Amendment Citizenship Clause that confers universal birthright citizenship. There's nothing in the legislative history. They can't quote a single person, the advocates for this position.
Wow.
Nothing, either in the 1866 Civil Rights Act or the 14th Amendment debates. to support the idea of universal birthright citizenship? If there is, let's see it right now.
Yeah.
Right now, let's see
Good
it.
question.
They can't produce it.
Wow.
Now, you hear people on TV say, well, the fact that the language of the Civil Rights Act of 1866 was specific about foreigners and so forth, and the 14th Amendment differ, Congress meant to adopt the English common law understanding that birth within a country's territory is enough to create citizenship. I'm seeing these reporters do this too. They don't even know what they're talking about.
Yeah.
They're reading these preposterous briefs by these 20 attorneys general, Democrats in blue states, and they just start quoting from it like it's a.
So it sounds like that this argument on really on the liberal side that birthright citizenship is in the Constitution, there's no evidence of that being in the Constitution. It's more so opinions of attorney generals or attorneys or maybe even some judges infusing that meaning into the 14th Amendment. That's what it's sounding like, because the authors of the 14th Amendment, they're telling you what the word jurisdiction actually means. Literally. Let's keep going.
Prayer from God. Nice try. But there's absolutely no support for this view anywhere. And in fact, for decades after the adoption of the 14th Amendment, everyone, including the Supreme Court of the United States in 2 rulings, understood what was meant by jurisdiction under the 14th Amendment. They weren't talking about English common law. Why would they talk about English common law? They're writing a constitution. Even today, citizenship is not automatically conferred on the children of diplomats, tourists, visa holders, and alike who happen to give birth while in the United States. Ah, gotcha. Birthright citizenship, born in the territory of the United... No, you need more than that. Well, why wouldn't you need more than that for immigrants, especially illegal immigrants? Doesn't even make any sense. Now, advocates for universal birthright citizenship point to a 3rd Supreme Court decision in 1898. 127 years ago, U.S. versus Wong Kim Ark. In that case, a child was born of a lawfully present immigrant and a permanently domiciled Chinese immigrant. Okay? The court ruled that that child was therefore a citizen under the 14th Amendment. Where did it get that from? Nowhere. A judicial, incredibly activist decision. Where did he get the decision in Plessy versus Ferguson that separate but equal was equal 2 years earlier in 1896? Where did that come from? Nowhere. That's just what they decided to rule.
Wow.
Now that court was responding to a blatantly racist federal law prohibiting Chinese immigrants from becoming naturalized citizens due solely to their race and ethnicity. Just like when the 14th Amendment was passed, dealing with former black slaves. It was purely race-based, and this court felt it had to step in. It's an activist court, and so it decided that in the case, at least of those Chinese parents, that child is an American citizen. Even so, it was not a decision based on the known understanding of the 14th Amendment's language or legislative history, was it? Therefore, its precedential value to the current Supreme Court.
So it seems to be that there were some decisions made about in all levels of the courts, judges, with cases being presented to said judges, that has infused a meaning on the word jurisdiction that is not supposed to be there, because the author of the 14th Amendment, we just went through that, one of the senators, let you know what the word jurisdiction actually meant. So it seems like the strategy, this is why I had this up initially first, the strategy when it comes to overcoming the original in meaning of the word jurisdiction was to create precedents, rulings by judges to change the meaning of the word jurisdiction, which is intellectually dishonest, right? So this is what Mark is talking about cases that they actually created precedents. Let's keep going, guys. This is really good. Here we go.
Should be in question. Should be in question is a matter of law. as a matter of law. Some have argued that this case holds that the 14th Amendment conveys birthright citizenship to the children of lawful immigrants, like those Chinese immigrants, who are born in the United States, well beyond the specific facts of the case. So not just with this particular couple, but in all cases where you have lawful immigrants. If they have a child in the United States, it's birthright citizenship. Is that what the Constitution says? No. Others argue that no, this case treats individuals discriminated against solely because of their race and making lawful citizenship impossible for individuals based solely on their race, akin to the freed black slaves for which the amendment was adopted in the first place, and therefore applies narrowly to the racial class that was discriminated against, in that case, Chinese Americans at the time. But here again, please stick with me.
I gotta say this real quickly, and one I'll be back in here in a second, Mark. I gotta say this, y'all. It seems to be that when a lot of major things get pushed through legislation, right, through the courts, I'm seeing a lot of groups using the Black experience or the trauma of Black people to push an agenda, therefore using us as a Trojan horse. Right? I'm tired of that. There's a lot of history behind this. A ton of history behind people groups using the Black experience, history, I would say, to push your damn agenda. I'm tired of that mess. Look through the history. Can't stand on your own 2 feet. You got to use us to push your agenda. You see it here recently with the Skittles crew. You've seen it when it comes to this citizenship thing. It's always off of Black history. I'm getting tired of that, man. Black folks, we gotta stand up and man, and defend ourselves of people stealing our history to put their damn agendas, to push it. I'm getting tired of this mess. Golly, another agenda pushed on the backs of Black history. And we didn't say nothing. That's on us, folks. That's on us, kinfolk. That's on us. That's on us. They keep using our Black history to push their agenda. What about ours? We ain't gonna say nothing? Golly, just keep on getting. No, I ain't gonna say that. Nope. Come on back. Man, we gotta do better. We have got to do better, man, to call out Black history being hijacked to push another agenda that does not benefit Black folks at all. Trash.
There's no constitutional basis for universal birthright citizenship, illegal immigrants or legal immigrants, in the Constitution itself. Period. Furthermore, there is no holding that confers birthright citizenship on children of illegal immigrants born in the United States. None. So where did this come from?
Yes, good question.
Because now it's everywhere.
Yeah.
And these slip and fall lawyers, the ambulance chasers, say, well, it's in the Constitution. Oh, nobody said that. Read the text. It's not in there either.
No.
It's believed that this practice started with the federal bureaucracy in the executive branch. It's not certain where. Some people think the Social Security Administration. Later on, some people think the State Department. Early on, we can't even be sure where we can find it. And yet we're told it's the law of the land. And it's
and then they hide it. Jesus. And then they hide it. Hijack our history. We can't locate where it originated from. This made up birthright citizenship, because it's made up. It's not in the text at all. It's not there at all. And then they hide the origins of it. and we don't say nothing. This whole 14th Amendment was made for black slaves. We didn't say nothing. Keep going.
It's enshrined in our Constitution. No, it's not. The federal courts are capable of doing anything on this case. Anything. The Supreme Court will undoubtedly have the final say.
Yes.
I have serious questions if there are 5 justices with the courage and commitment to actually uphold the 14th Amendment as it was written and intended, given the political pressures surrounding the universal birthright citizenship issue, given how John Roberts, the Chief Justice, and Justice Barrett cowardly ducked on the issue of the New York corrupt case against Donald Trump. We had 4 brave justices who said, yeah, we need to take that case and fix this. Because some of these justices, well, they go Hollywood, or they're very concerned about how they are treated in the Washington Post and the New York Times, even though those papers have really almost no subscribers anymore. President Trump deserves all the credit in the world for taking this on. The idea that foreigners can create their own jurisdiction for their yet-to-be-born children by simply stepping into our country, even illegally, and declaring citizenship is patently absurd. It would be akin to me going to South Carolina tomorrow and saying, I'm here, I'm a citizen of South Carolina. What are you talking about? A citizen of anything. Just because you step into the country, oh no, but in America, you step into the country, you have a baby, that baby's a citizen. If this had been the understanding at the time the 14th Amendment was drafted, which it wasn't, it never would have been adopted by Congress, let alone a supermajority of both houses.
Correct.
Let alone ratified by 3/4 of the states. It never would have happened. This is about politics, pure and simple, not the rule of law. Finally, those who say you cannot reverse universal birthright citizenship with an executive order or even a congressional statute, which I keep hearing now. You can't change the Constitution with an executive order or statute. That's true, by the way, you can't.
You cannot.
But they kind of miss the point entirely, aren't they? The issue is whether the 14th Amendment itself is a constitutional basis for universal birthright citizenship.
Question.
It's not a presumption by me that it is, and therefore you can't reverse it with an executive order or a statute. That's what's being challenged.
Correct.
By issuing an executive order, President Trump's taking it on, head on. He's asserting it's not. Should Congress pass legislation altering birthright citizenship or eliminating it altogether, it's Congress that's saying, no, we want to challenge this assumption. The issue is not whether you can alter the Constitution by other means than an amendment. You absolutely cannot. The issue is whether the 14th Amendment says what the birthright citizenship crowd says it says.
Correct.
And it doesn't. And we still might lose.
Yeah. Correct.
Because the law doesn't seem to be the law anymore. But I would just warn these judges in the Supreme Court, why should we adhere to your rulings if you don't adhere to the Constitution? Why are your rulings there, therefore, sacrosanct, but the text of the Constitution is not? You see what I mean? No, I don't think you on the court see what I mean or even care. I'll be right back.
So, great presentation by Mark Levin on this here, guys. And I agree with him. Whenever you're reading a book or a document, you cannot infuse your own meaning on those words that are written down, because you did not write said document or book. You have to go to the original author and see what the author meant by the words that the author wrote down, not by what you think it is. Does that make sense? And forgive me, guys, I'm struggling a little bit because I'm under the weather a little bit, so forgive me. So I agree with Mark there concerning this. Now, again, let me go back to the strategy, capital impact real quickly. The strategy that for more so on the liberal side is it seemed like they did not want to go to the original author of the 14th Amendment. So what they did was, and I got to give it to them, it was kind of a smart strategy because it's been effective so far. What they've done is they have used attorneys to go to judges, and they present an argument of birthright citizenship being in the Constitution, right? Based on their interpretation, not the original author of the 14th Amendment, on their attorney's interpretation, right? And then the judges, whether it be a lower judge or Supreme Court, because he went through a Supreme Court decision as well, said, "Yep, I agree." They agreed with that with their presentation, therefore creating a precedence, right? To say, see, it's in the Constitution because the Supreme Court said it was. It's kind of like an appeal to authority argument. That was the whole strategy, right? Which they got a lot of political capital, right? Because of that strategy, and the impact has now come to the full point to where they now say is now birthright citizenship is the law of the land because it's in the Constitution, but it's not. Not based on what I'm saying, based on what the original author of the 14th Amendment actually said. Simple, not hard. Not hard at all. And I'll have to say, on the conservative and the libertarian side, you guys have done a terrible job at combating this precedence. You have not. You have. You just kind of like you just gave up the argument. That's what it sounds like. And I have to give a hand clap of praise to President Trump. He said, "No, baby, we're gonna talk about this. We're gonna talk about this." That's what they did. So, forgive me, guys. So now what's happening is you have really kind of a chaos because of the fact that you have the wrong interpretation of the word jurisdiction in the Constitution and 14th Amendment. The argument is over the word jurisdiction. That's all it is. That's the argument. So now, are we going to go off of someone's interpretation of it, or are we going to go off of the author of the 14th Amendment? We have what he meant by the word jurisdiction. It's detailed. So now it's going to really come to the point to where, do we have any Supreme Court justices that may be brave to overcome this? Because if you look at the original text, based on the author's interpretation, jurisdiction means what country of origin do you pledge allegiance to? How to determine that is the country of origin that you were born in. That's how this is done. It's not hard. That's how it's done. Make sense? Now, let's see here. I have a section now, guys. What I call this the bounce back or the leading on purpose. So I gotta bounce back. Yeah. Let's bounce back, y'all, real fast, man. I always call this. I call this, man. This is my section called "Leading with Purpose: Timeless Leadership Lessons for 2025." Right? I call this a year of the level up. So we got to level up, guys. So now we have to do this here real quickly. We got to lead with purpose by what? Being transparent. By telling the truth. Let me say it again. We have to lead with purpose by being transparent, by telling the truth. What do I mean by that? When it comes to the interpretation of the word jurisdiction, we have to be honest and not biased and go by the author's original meaning of the word jurisdiction. And the rest of it right there. That means every judge, every attorney, every lay person was a citizen, right? Every professor as well. We have to go by that original definition, even if it goes against your agenda. Now, why is telling the truth so important, guys? I'm glad you actually asked. Let's go to this here real quickly. Boom. Boom. Here we go. Guys, this is Proverbs 12:22, right? We got to go to this here. It says Proverbs 12:22 says, the Lord detests lying lips. Tell the damn truth. But he delights in people who are trustworthy. That's integrity. Telling the truth. So let me say it again for the welcome back row. The Lord detests lying lips. The Lord means owner, right? The owner detests lying lips. But he, the owner, delights in people who are trustworthy. Right? That is, we got to begin there. Now, why is telling the truth so important? Right? We know that the Lord detests lying lips and he delights in people that are trustworthy, telling the truth, right? Now, why is telling the truth so important? I'm glad you asked. Let's go to John 8:32. It says, then you will know the truth, and the truth will set you free. So the reason why the owner, the Lord, detests lying lips, and he delights in those that are trustworthy, right? Because he understands that by telling the truth, it leads to freedom. Freedom. Then you will know the truth, and the truth will set you free. So the secret to freedom is the truth. Not the spin, the truth. Not the lie, the truth. Real simple. Now, guys, what would this look like? Let's go. What would this look like? Oh, what happened? Oh, my bad. I went to boom passes. Here we go. There we go. Now, what should we be doing for attorneys, judges, the president, Congress, mayors, senators, anybody in government? What should we be doing? Don't you? The owner told you this, right? This is 1 Timothy 1-2. It says, first of all, then I urge that entreaties and prayers, petitions and thanksgivings be made on behalf of all men. For who? For kings and all who are in authority, so that you may lead a tranquil and quiet life in all godliness and dignity. So he's saying, even if you don't like said politician, judge, attorney, anybody in authority, king, anybody in authority, he says, pray for them, right? So that you may lead a tranquil and quiet life in all godliness and dignity. So praying for your leaders leads to a quiet life, a tranquil and quiet life, and all godliness and dignity. That means you got to put down your biasness. Because why? Tell the truth. Truth sets you free. Why? When you're free, you have an unbiased mind, right? If you walk in godliness, right? So that you begin to pray for your leaders, so that you actually can lead a tranquil and quiet life in all godliness and dignity. Not bad, is it? Now, what would it look like for, let's say, for instance, let me go over the strategy real fast. All right. What would it look like for the Supreme Court to rule on this in the present day? I love strategy. And so let's go to 1 Kings 3:16-28. Right? This is Solomon, which is known as the wisest man to ever live, faced something like this. But it was a different context, right? But let's begin to examine what he did to make a decision, and then we will bring this context to today, and we can reason together. Verse 16. One day, two women came to Solomon, right? And one of them said, Your Majesty, this woman and I live in the same house. Not long ago, my baby was born at home, and 3 days later, her baby was born. Nobody else was there with us. It was just those two. One night while we were all asleep, She rolled over on her baby and he died. Then while I was still asleep, she got up and took my son out of the bed. She put him in her bed. Then she put the dead baby next to me. So there was a switcheroo there, right? In the morning when I got up to feed my son, I saw that he was dead. And when I looked at him in the light, I knew he wasn't my son. You see this? You see the deceitfulness there? Let's keep going. No, the other woman shouted. He was your son. My baby is alive. The dead baby is yours, the first one yelled. Mine is alive. They argued back and forth in front of Solomon. And so finally he said, both of you say this live baby is yours. Watch this. He said, someone bring me a sword. A sword was brought to Solomon. A sword was brought, and Solomon ordered, cut the baby in half. That way, each of you can have part of him. Verse 26. Please, don't kill my son. The baby's mother screamed, Your Majesty, I love him very much, but give him to her. Just don't kill him. The other woman shouted, Go ahead and cut him in half. Then neither of us will have the baby. Solomon said, Don't kill the baby. Then he pointed to the first woman. She is the real mother. Give the baby to her. Everyone in Israel was amazed when they heard how Solomon had made his decision. They realized that God had given him wisdom to judge fairly. Now, why did I read that text? This is the reason why I actually read the other text about praying for those that are authorities in our government, so that God can bless them with wisdom to make a wise decision. Right? I love how Solomon made the decision and said, I need to find out who the real mother is. So he gave a prescription, and the real mother cried out and said, give the other lady the baby so that you won't kill him. Then he said, you're the mother. The other lady said, just cut him in half so we can both have him. He said, the lady that cried out first, she's the real mother. So what can the Supreme Court do in this situation? And also Congress and the executive branch. Because we have three levels. We have three branches of government: executive, judicial, and legislative. And it's trying to solve a mismanagement based on bad interpretation of the 14th Amendment. How do you solve this problem? Because you do have kids whose parents brought them over and took advantage unrighteously of a bad interpretation of the 14th Amendment. How about you do this here? In the comment section, let me know if you agree. Right? What if you did this here? You say, okay, all of the kids that were born in the United States, since you had no decision at all when it comes to you be giving birth, you guys can stay, but you can't vote. Because although your parents took advantage of this situation and you were part of that decision, but not willfully, we can't bless you with all the rights of being a U.S. citizen. You can pay your taxes, you can work, over the bank account, invest, all that stuff. But you can't vote. These are for the children. This includes the DACA children. You cannot work for a candidate and run for any office. You cannot run for any office, no matter if it's city, county, state, or federal. because you got access to citizenship unrighteously. Now, your parents, unfortunately, they have to go because they made a decision to break the law to come into the country. Because the argument that I hear a lot of the times is, what about the children? We're taking care of the children with this strategy. But the parents have to go back to their home countries and come back legally. Do it the right way. The right way. Now you may say, Dale, what about the kids that these new citizens actually have who didn't have any voting rights? Can those kids vote? Yes, they can. Because now they've been given birth by citizens of the U.S. That's what I would kind of do from a beginning standpoint. I'm open to any ideas at all, so that it makes some sense. That was the initial thing that I was thinking about concerning the right strategy to solve this problem. We can go a little deeper and say, "Now, what about this? What this?" We can do all that, which is fine. But from the beginning, that's the beginning discussion point concerning solving this problem. If that makes some sense. That's what I would do. That's how you strategize so that you actually produce the right capital, and then you invest the capital, which is politically and socially the right way for a positive impact. Now, some folks come say that's not fair because they can't vote. You cannot get full access to all the benefits of the United States if your parents broke the law to get you in here. No, that's unrighteous. No. Can they earn it? Well, I don't know what that would look like. The kids can, sure. Their kids can, if that makes some sense. Or somebody say no, because then the kids are benefiting from it bad. Okay, so what I'm hearing people say is, hey, since the original family came in illegally, right? The kids that were born and then the other kids that were born, they can't vote. Okay, let's talk about what they going to look like. Do we put in a test or an earning of voting for that second generation and third and fourth? Something, because we're trying to make the best out of a bad situation based on bad legal rulings, bad attorneys, bad politicians. Go down the line. Bad parenting. This is bad everywhere. That's what I would do. That's how you lead with purpose, be transparent, and tell the truth. It's that simple, guys. It's that simple. When you tell the truth, guys, the truth will set you free. People are tired of being lied to. I know I am. I'm tired of being lied to as well. Right? People are tired of being lied to. Just tell them the truth and be transparent. Get into a damn room and iron out a law. That's fair. Now, politicians and judges, you guys are going to have to be unbiased. That's how I would do it, guys. Guys, man, I hope this was a good exercise. I enjoyed it because it's a hot topic, right? And I want to talk about it, and I learned so much just by diving into the history of the 14th Amendment, right? Now, I say this here. All right, I say this here, guys. Now, a lot of the times, guys, I'm asked, Liddell, can you teach me how to invest in real estate? The answer is always yes. But at the exact same time, I do something a little bit different, guys. I give away the information for free, right? Here's the reason why. It's because of the fact that a course is not going to teach you how to become successful in real estate. Actually doing the actions of investing with a mentor is the right way. So we're giving away our free distressed property ebook. You make money in real estate when you acquire, not when you sell. Even more important in this type of economy, you have to buy right to be able to generate a nice amount of return on your investment, right? No matter if you're doing new construction, apartment complexes, or single residences, or office buildings or warehouses, you make money when you acquire. So if you could scan on this QR code to download the free ebook, it is free. I want no money from you at all. My whole philosophy is if I can teach you how to locate a trust property in your city, county, or state, vet the deal, and we structure the right way, I'll fund the deal, guys, and we can profit share the success of that deal. Real simple. Not hard to do it all. And it's a free book. So click on the link below in the description, or scan on this QR code, or if you can do either one of those things, direct message me the word real estate. Real estate, right? Not in the chat, but real estate. And my team will get you over the same link to download that free ebook. All right, guys. Now, some folks may say, "Hey, Dale, I don't like real estate, man, but I do want to do it, get a side hustle going because I can see what's going on with the economy." I'm rocking with you. I got you hooked up as well. A good friend of mine named Matt Sapala did a presentation on the passive income blueprint. Right, this is how you make money while you're still working your full-time job. Right, all right. Or if you're looking to exit full-time job, this is what you can do. He walks through business models. You're going to be very surprised by that last one, business models, to where you can generate a good passive income so that you can make a decision potentially in the future to say, hey, I'm making more money on my passive income than I'm making at my full-time job. Or you may say, you know what, I just want to make some passive income and keep working on my job. That's fine. But you have to have multiple streams of income. Most millionaires and billionaires have multiple streams of income after they mastered one, right? Mastered one. Right? So do me a favor, click on the link below in the description, or scan this QR code, or if you can do either one of those actions, type in, direct message me the word passive income, and my team will get you out this link. And it's a free video. It didn't cost you a dime. It is free, FREE, free. Right? That's it. And lastly, guys, now you see this hat I got on, guys. You see me looking better than you. It's okay. Yeah, you see the hat called the bag. You see it. I got my shirt on. Hold on, let me get touch away. I got my shirt on too, called the bag, guys, right here. Man, hold on. I want y'all to see how it looks on me. Called the bag. This is a hoodie. We got a hat right here called the bag, guys. Real simple, guys. We call it I Got That Bag University, guys. This is our merch. Our whole thing is, hey, this is how you show us. This is how we can show the world that we're making money together. It's called I Got That Bag University. We call it the bag merch, guys. Get your hoodie, get your hat, t-shirt, whatever you want is right there. Click on the link below, or you can scan this QR code, guys, and get access to our merch. And if you buy merch, right, and you tag me in it, we'll put you in a drawing for you to be able to win a $100 gift card to spend whatever you want to spend that. Doesn't matter. You can go out to eat on it. We don't buy your wife something, buy yourself something, whatever, pay a bill. We don't care. All we want you to do is to tag me and Liddell Bugs in it, guys. And what happen is you'll be put into a drawing, and then we'll have the drawing live online with one of our shows. And then what happen is we'll call the winner. So get your merch today, guys. Well, guys, man, thank you so much for your time. Hope I blessed you a little bit. Hope this was very cool with me. And lastly, guys, every Friday, we actually have what we call Real Estate Friday Live Training. It's on all platforms. It's your partner and Cliff, man. We talk about everything going on with real estate, guys. We talk about the current market analysis. We go over an investment strategy you can use to make 5, 10, 20 grand in a month. And also, we walk through a deal with you as well also, and a deal that we've done in the past so you can see what's going on. But let me give you a little bit of a preview of what we're going to talk about. Here we go. What's good, baby? It's your boy Dale. I'm back in the saddle again. Our motto is to buy, build. We already bought it already, so we already own it, free and clear. Refinance to long-term debt, cash flow. That is the motto. Cliff, man, is that a pretty strong motto, man? What do you think?
Man, the model is strong. Like, you're getting each piece of the invest, right?
Yes, every Friday at 5 p.m. CST, your partner and Cliff do Real Estate Friday trainings, guys. It is free on all platforms, guys. Again, we talk about all things real estate, which is great. We're going to be talking about most likely the Fed talk about the Fed has paused rate cuts. Oh, doggone. And you have economists talking about is it going to benefit the economy or not? And we're going to talk about how the sales of real estate has slowed down significantly, no matter what market that you're in. And we're going to talk about how people are leaving the state of Florida to come to Texas and Tennessee. We're going to talk about that as well also, guys. But guys, that's it, guys. Thank you so much for your time. God bless you. You know I end it every single time, guys, because I look better than you before you leave. And while you can, you see that thing, baby. Take that damn picture and give it to your mama now. And holler at your partner. God bless you guys. See you next time, guys. Peace.
Walk me through everything, but let's start from the beginning. How'd you get into this space?
Well, when I was 17 years old, my Uncle Gary, who still lives to this day, introduced me to a concept called passive income.
Okay.
And I said, oh, Uncle, what's that?
Yeah.
He said, something that you do one time, but you get paid over and over again. I'm like, why am I trying to go to college? I want to know how to do that. Gotcha. And so while I was in college, I began to look at business models that generated passive or residual income. One of them was real estate, because everybody and their mama actually had it, from Robert Kraft, Jerry Jones, all the billionaires actually had real estate in their portfolio. So I began buying real estate while I was in college. The first deal that I did, I made $3,500. And in college, that's big time. In college, you broke.
For sure.
College.
For sure.
So then I went from $3,500 to $10,000 to $26,000, and now $35 million worth of real estate. For me, business is always about solving someone's problem. Whenever you're buying a real estate transaction, the one thing I look at is, what's the pain point? Why you want to sell for? And typically, I like buying properties below wholesale. I never buy properties at retail. That didn't make sense to me at all, because I'm planning for the worst case scenario. Each and every deal that I actually acquire, I actually take home cash when I actually acquire it. Wow. Every single time. If you wanted to know how successful real estate investors make money when they acquire real estate and not when they sell it, click on the link below or swipe up and download our free ebook, Distressed Property Investing. The blueprint is in the ebook. Stay blessed, holler at your partner, and download the ebook today.